In a world that seemed determined to keep them in conflict, two children found a way to hold on to each other, not through borders or politics, but through the fragile threads of calls and messages that lit up their days. This is the story of Amira, the Palestinian, and Yoni, the Israeli. Yoni, 12 years old, lived in a small Israeli town where sirens were part of the morning soundtrack, and soldiers were uncles, neighbors, brothers. His escape was a soccer ball, a notebook full of doodles, and the secret calls he made when no one was watching. Not long ago, Yoni had been an advocate of hate speech in a phony social media handle which went as far as Gaza, hurting the feelings of others in his age group. Amira almost lost her usual demeanor as a calm, sweet soul because of Yoni's propaganda, until somehow, by some stroke of fate, these two kids argued online till they actually became not just friends, but unbelievably very good friends. They defied adult and society propaganda that meant to brand them as enemies, and rather found the strength in consoling and forgiving each other for the many wrongs, threats, and bombs that made news headlines of the wrong kind in their region. Amira, 11, lived in Gaza with her father, her sister, and dreams bigger than the rubble outside her door. Her father never approved of the late-night whispers over the phone, but he let her keep it anyway. Perhaps he knew she needed something, someone, to remind her she was still a child. Then, one night, the calls stopped. Her father was gone. The phone was gone. And Amira was left with heavy, crushing silence. Amira wandered through the camp, homeless after her sister turned away from her, too wounded by the idea of her friendship with an Israeli boy. It was betrayal, her sister said. Amira was alone, until a stranger with an Australian accent placed a phone gently in her hand. The aid worker's kindness gave her a fragile lifeline. Each time the phone was passed into her hands, her world opened again. Yoni's voice was waiting, carrying laughter, warmth, and something rarer than hope belonging. Yoni had his own battles. His family never understood why he clung to Amira. To them, she was an enemy, a danger. His older brother mocked him. His mother called it nonsense. And so, Yoni learned to whisper into the phone late at night, hiding behind closed doors. Amira was not the enemy to him. She was his best friend. When Amira's hunger grew unbearable, Yoni did what few could imagine. He spoke to his uncle, a soldier stationed nearby. He begged for a favor, to leave food in hidden corners, not marked by flags or guns, but by quiet understanding. And sometimes, when the world wasn't watching, kindness was smuggled across the lines. Following the disappearance of her dad after that night of bombing, Amira had taken it upon herself not to stop looking for him. But on one night, all she found was her father's broken bicycle in the rubble. Amira and Yoni continued to discuss matters pertaining to their own lives as children. They promised each other not to speak of the war. Instead, they talked about growing up. She told him how her school books were buried under rubble, how she traced the letters of words she remembered on scraps of paper. He told her about his classroom, where every desk was full but the lessons felt empty. They talked about humanity, what it meant to be good, to care, to believe that tomorrow could be softer than today. They dreamed of futures not written by adults who carried anger, but by children who carried crayons. Amira confessed her love for the sea, the way the waves sounded like freedom. Yoni spoke of soccer fields, of green spaces that stretched wider than the camps Amira called home. They taught each other words in Hebrew and Arabic, laughing when accents stumbled, but meanings shone clear. But friendship, in their world, was rebellion. Amira's sister threatened to disown her, leaving her adrift. Yoni's family questioned his loyalty, pushing him to choose blood over bond. Yet neither child let go. One night, as the phone connection crackled under the weight of distance, they made a promise. Not to each other alone, but to the world that refused to listen. They continued to ask the questions their elders feared. What is humanity? Why pass down hate? Could we forgive? We will not repeat the mistakes of our elders. We will not inherit their anger. We will build something new.